On November 5th, 2018, Kanye West tweeted, "McDonald's is my favorite restaurant." 3 minutes later, Burger King responded with 3 words, "Explains a lot." You got to give it to them. That was a great move. This became the most liked brand tweet of all time. It got them over 800,000 likes, pandemonium in the comments, and even a making-of article, which has to be a first for a tweet. But it revealed something else. Burger King's PR people are completely obsessed with McDonald's, to the point of having a notification set up whenever the keyword is mentioned. That's how they were able to react so quickly. The fast food industry is a war of all against all. Popeye trashes Wendy's on its marketing strategy, Wendy's slams Burger King on the quality of their meat, and Burger King is obsessed with McDonald's. On the one hand, it works. Chris Kelly explains in his article Burger Wars, despite McDonald's boasting twice as many restaurants, 5 times the ad budget and 10 times the revenue, Burger King's marketing innovations have had lasting impact. But is it really that smart for a company as big as Burger King to spend more time talking about its competitors than its own products? Burger King's attacks on McDonald's are not just trolling to get people with community manager in their LinkedIn bio excited. The strategy actually dates back to before social networks. It all began in 1981. Burger King released a 30-second ad that would change the fast food industry forever. The ad is a little outdated. Aren't you hungry for Burger King? But the content is still relevant, because in this ad, a 4-year-old child launched a battle that is still ongoing 40 years later.
When I order a regular burger at McDonald's, they make it with 20% less meat than Burger King. Unbelievable!
Hijacking the fame of someone bigger than you is a powerful way to promote yourself when you're just starting out. People do this on YouTube a lot. For example, early MrBeast content included hours-long videos where he kept repeating another big YouTuber's name over and over again. Above all, Burger King is picking the right battle. They know they can't compete with McDonald's strong brand image, so they choose to highlight one area where they have an advantage. In this case, quantity, which is something concrete and measurable. That's how a company can turn its number 2 status into a competitive advantage. The best example of this was the Avis We Try Harder campaign in the 1960s. At the time, the number 1 car rental company in the US was Hertz. So not only did Avis publicly admit that they were behind them, they made it an argument in their favor. When you're only number 2, you try harder, or else. So Avis couldn't afford to have bad customer service, or dirty ashtrays, or to keep you waiting. The campaign made such an impression that Hertz felt that they had to reply to justify their position as number 1. In this scenario, Avis is dictating the terms of the debate. We're no longer talking about the reliability of Hertz cars. We're talking about their rush customer service and their dirty ashtrays. Same thing with the Burger King ad. We're no longer talking about the nostalgia and loyalty of an entire generation for McDonald's. We're talking about the size of their burgers. And so, when the Burger King ad came out, McDonald's was shocked. It was the first time Burger King had attacked them by name, and they didn't like it at all. They filed a lawsuit calling the message false, deceptive, disparaging, unfair, and misleading. But the damage was done. Burger King kept running the ads and the campaign was a huge success. And yet, they decided to change their strategy. Instead of repeating the attacks against McDonald's, they tried to create campaigns to build Burger King's own identity. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way they planned. In 1985, they launched a weird campaign featuring Herb, a character who had never tasted a Whopper.
Sometime soon, this man could walk into your life and make you a millionaire.
The campaign cost $40 million and it was a huge flop. Herb didn't appeal to consumers at all, and in 1986, Burger King's profits were down 40%. So they went back to what worked before, the Burger Wars. It's still going on today, and we have to say that they're good at it. Take the 2018 Whopper Detour campaign. To encourage their customers to download the new Burger King app, they launched a nationwide challenge in the US. If you ordered a Whopper on the app while you were in a McDonald's restaurant, you would only pay 1 penny. They used the phone's GPS to check that their customers were in a McDonald's, then guided them to the nearest Burger King to pick up their burgers. The campaign was a huge success. In 48 hours, the Burger King app went from 686 to first place on the App Store. The campaign was mentioned 50,000 times on Twitter, and the franchises recording their highest traffic levels in 4 years. It's a perfect example of successful brandjacking, because it served a clear purpose: to get people to download the app. But not all of Burger King's marketing stunts had such a clear objective. Take their 2017 stunt during the German premiere of the horror movie It, where an evil clown terrorizes children. At the end of the film, they use projectors to insert a message just before the credits: never trust a clown. And of course, they filmed the reaction of the audience to post the video on social media. If you compare this stunt to the 1981 ad or to the Whopper detour, you'll notice that the strategy is not quite the same. They are no longer attacking McDonald's products by explaining how Burger King is better. They don't have a clear goal like boosting downloads or sales. Instead, the only goal is to appear smart and cool at the expense of their competitor. The meaner you are, the more retweets you can get. By the way, Burger King isn't the only one trolling McDonald's for fun. Other competitors saw that the technique was getting eyeballs and jumped on the bandwagon. Wendy's compared their trucks to garbage trucks and wished them a happy National Frozen Food Day. Fast food chain Jack in the Box partnered with a site that listed McDonald's with a broken ice cream machine. And Arby's teamed up with rapper Pusha T to create a diss track about McDonald's Filet-O-Fish.
Filet-O-Fishes, then you should be disgusted. How dare you sell a square fish asking us to trust it? A half slice of cheese, Mickey D's on a budget.
All this in a climate of almost total impunity. Because for the moment, the number one has decided not to react and to remain silent. Burger King is frantically trying to stage a rivalry. But if we have on one side a competitor shooting on sight and on the other side the enemy sitting on their throne looking down on him, can we really call this a duel?
One last question. I hate to stir it up, but Afrojack has been talking shit about you. Anything you want to say? Who? Afrojack? Who? That's what I thought. Thank you.
That was the best way to reply when someone smaller than you attacks you. McDonald's never retaliates because it's not in their interest to give Burger King more attention. It's like when little YouTubers try to grab exposure by taking down the bigger one. The right strategy is just to ignore them, because if a big YouTuber starts replying to every little attack, everyone will start criticizing them just to provoke a response and get more views. Besides, when you're number one, chances are that your fans are loyal enough to defend you. For example, in 2013, Pepsi, another legendary number two, released a Halloween ad where a Pepsi can was disguised in a Coca-Cola red cape. The joke was that drinking Coca-Cola is scary. Coca-Cola followed Eminem's tactic and ignored the attack. But some fans were inspired to create the perfect reply. They changed the slogan from "We wish you a scary Halloween" to "Everybody wants to be a hero." Number ones shouldn't respond because they have everything to lose and nothing to gain. In fact, Coke once made that very mistake. In 1975, Pepsi launched the Pepsi Challenge, a marketing campaign that asked passers-by to blindly test a glass of Coke and a glass of Pepsi. The result was that during the blind test, Americans preferred Pepsi to Coke. It was a good move, but it was nowhere near fatal for Coke. Because when the test wasn't blind, people still preferred Coca-Cola. As a result, the only thing that Pepsi proved was that Coca-Cola has such a strong brand that it literally makes their soda taste better. Unfortunately for Coke, they got paranoid and they made the big mistake of reacting. They launched press releases and advertising campaigns to prove that Coke was better than Pepsi. And even worse, in an incredible fiasco in 1985, Coca-Cola decided to change its formula to make it taste similar to Pepsi. The new Coke arrived in stores with a defensive advertising campaign, "The best just got better." The campaign was the biggest disaster in Coke's history. People rushed to stores to stock up on the old Coke. Coke's customer service department received 400,000 letters of complaint and daily calls. After only 79 days, Coke was forced to reintroduce its original soda in stores. And in 2002, the new Coke was permanently withdrawn from sale. Pepsi had achieved its goal, to make the conversation about taste and draw the number one into a defensive spiral of justification. And now you're probably wondering, isn't McDonald's, by not responding, taking the risks that the situation will get worse and the attacks get out of control? Well, the reason McDonald's is not worried is that they know that Burger King cannot keep escalating the attacks forever. Do you really think that the most damaging criticism of McDonald's are its broken ice cream machine, its creepy mascot, or even the size of its burger? Of course not. If someone really wants to take down McDonald's, there is no shortage of arguments. McDonald's exploits its employees. McDonald's is involved in torturing animals to sell you the cheapest meat possible. McDonald's is bad for your health, for the environment, for children, for society, and so on. But Burger King will never make these attacks, for the simple reason that they are guilty of the same things as McDonald's. McDonald's and Burger King are competing for market share in the fast food industry, but they are allies when it comes to convincing you that it's a good idea to sustain yourself on fries and soda. Burger King's marketing is based on an assumption. In a battle between a giant and an underdog, the public will always support David against Goliath. The problem is that this instinct is not as universal as we think. People love the underdog, yeah, but they also love clapbacks. Clapback culture is the art of replying with intelligence or humor to someone who has criticized you or insulted you. It's Eminem dodging Ron Burgundy's question about Afrojack by asking who he is. Underdog marketing is effective for getting started and making a name for yourself. But the bigger you get, the more it becomes a weakness. Because while Burger King is busy tweeting about McDonald's broken ice cream machines, McDonald's is working to solidify its competitive advantage, its brand identity. The Famous Orders campaign in 2020 is a great example of McDonald's brand building. They asked celebrities like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West for their McDonald's order, and then followed it up with orders for Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet, or Dracula. This sends a strong identity message. Whoever you are, you each have a specific McDonald's order. Burger King was quick to copy and paste and launched the Keep It Real campaign in 2021. But that campaign shows the limit of a marketing strategy purely based on opposition to another brand. If the number one changes its strategy, the number two has to follow it, even if it means being led into less favorable territory. For example, it was not a good idea to try to copy McDonald's on the relationship they have with their customers. Many people have an iconic McDonald's order, but far fewer have a specific Burger King order in mind. So when exactly does underdog marketing start to get risky? To my mind, the answer is when you get to about the same order of magnitude as your competitor, it's time to stop. MrBeast used PewDiePie's name to go viral in 2018, but when he passed him in 2022, he did it quietly. The only exception to this rule is if the clash is mutual. Two rappers or two sports teams can have a rivalry that lasts for decades, even if both are about the same size. But if the fight is one-sided, underdog marketing locks you into your number two spot. If a brand's entire positioning is based on attacks, it's very hard to build a lasting brand identity and trust with the public. Yes, Burger King's edgy marketing gets it trending on Twitter regularly, which is not the case with its competitors. But a clever tweet will never compete with the sense of ritual and nostalgia associated with McDonald's. And the pandemic provided further evidence of McDonald's emotional dominance. Crushed by uncertainty and loneliness in early 2020, millions of people turned to their comfort food of choice. As a result, there were huge lines of cars in front of McDonald's restaurants all over the world. Burger King is a bit like your punk cousin, dropping cheeky punchlines at family dinners. But McDonald's is your grandmother, who has been serving you the same apple pie for 30 years, and every bite reminds you of your childhood.
Hello, I'm a Mac. And I'm a PC.
About 20 years ago, Apple had lost the war for the PC market to Microsoft. They were firmly stuck in second place. So in 2006, they launched a campaign that became iconic, Get a Mac. More than 60 ads were released, all on the same model. A man wearing a cool outfit introduces himself as a Mac and faces a guy in a brown suit who introduces himself as a PC. The message is a bit on the nose, but very clear. The Mac is cool, the PC is for squares.
Whoa, what happened to you, PC?
Kids happened. I was bought for a home. Now I have to make movies and blogs and listen to music every night. I'm crying myself to sleep mode.
I'm sorry about
You were made to stimulate 10-year-old brains with your iLife jazz. All I want to do is balance their checkbooks.
I don't think 10-year-olds have checkbooks.
No checkbooks, no inboxes, no employers, just wild imaginations.
Apple sold 200,000 extra Macs in the month after the campaign was launched and ended the 2006 fiscal year with a 39% increase in sales. However, today it would be really weird if Apple released an ad to attack Samsung or Xiaomi. And that's because to become the leader in their market, Apple had to level up from underdog marketing. The turning point was this. The iPod was the first product category that Apple really dominated. And the famous Silhouettes campaign was the kind of ad that number ones do. It was no longer about comparing themselves to others. others were forced to compare themselves to Apple. All of Apple's marketing became based on the assumption that the superiority and coolness of Apple products are self-evident and do not even need to be mentioned. Apple would never have become the most highly valued company in the world by playing at "we are not Microsoft." They used that strategy when they were very far behind, but they moved on to build their own identity. 10 years later, the balance of power had shifted, and Microsoft came out with ads arguing that their voice assistant was superior to Siri.
Well, I had covers too.
But I wish I had a cover like yours.
What's that, Siri? I said, I wish I had a cover like yours.
That's why Burger King will always be stuck in its #2 position. While they're trolling McDonald's, McDonald's is tweeting about the universal experience of ordering fast food. As advertising executive Paul Prero has said, Burger King is commenting on culture, but culture is commenting on McDonald's. If you liked the video, subscribe, and if you want to learn why Elon Musk's tweets are so weird, click here.